there's no argument there, man. He's a top player on the ball. You know, I do think in terms of his delivery, you know, it is world class. There's no questioning that.
Yeah.
I think he can be found wanting at right back, in my opinion, especially if they play up against the best teams. And international football, as I mentioned, because it's very individual, especially when you're a wide player, you're more or less looking to kind of isolate your fullback, and that's why I think he doesn't play fullback as much. And let's be honest with you, they've got a lot of players that can play fullback. Carl Walker, Trippier, Reece James obviously is injured, Livramento who didn't get called up. You know,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of options there, and it kind of shows his versatility really that he can play right back and centre mid. But I just think against the better teams, you don't really. Me personally, I can't really trust that midfield with him being in there. I can see him playing as a deep lying playmaker in the Perlo role because he has got that ability to
Yeah.
spray the passes around. But we all know England ain't gonna do that because Southgate ain't brave enough to be doing that. So, but yeah,
But
man.
then
Before go on.
against the top teams, do you really see them pressing us as much as the low as some of these weaker teams would, aside from France?
You know
I see
what?
them
Yeah.
being more passive in the press.
You know what it is. I think if they was to play up against a Portugal, I
Yeah.
think Portugal would press them because I think Portugal might look at them and think, you know what? If you pressurize their midfielders, they're going to give it away. That's what I think. And if you look at, obviously, they've got Bruno Fernandes in there. He just runs around like a madman anyway.
Yeah.
So, and Paulinho is very aggressive in the press. So, I think if you play them against a Portugal, they might do that. And then because they've got Rafael Leao's pace on the break, you know, they might look to exploit that in that way. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see, obviously, because now is where it starts getting interesting. Obviously, all the
Yeah.
group games are coming to a close now. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to, man, just seeing how it matches up. Obviously, they're playing today.
Hopefully Gallagher smashes it. If he starts, hopefully he bangs.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm not his biggest fan, but it looks like he's going to come in, and we have to just hope, man, because so far both games, England are lucky to get 4 points. You know, I believe the Serbia game, so that should have been a draw really. And the Denmark game, Denmark should have beaten
Yeah.
really. So
I want
but
to
they've
see
got 4 points on the board, and it's just and Slovenia game won't be easy. I know on paper they should be beating Slovenia, but
yeah.
Slovenia are unbeaten as well. So
I mean,
and they
in this
they might surprise.
in this tournament, most of the top teams have flattered, so like they ain't really performed.
Yeah,
Not
Spain
really.
and Germany
They've
really let
had
me out.
one or two really good games or
Yeah,
moments in games, and then like even the Spain game the other night was 1-0. It
yeah.
wasn't really like a high scoring game. We've only had one or two of those, and it's rare to have that in the Euros as it
Yeah.
is. So a
But
team
the
be
thing is, don't forget that was a changed team though as well.
yeah.
They changed their whole 11.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I personally don't see like today's game with England. I don't really see them having an unbeaten run being that outstanding in our group.
Yeah, yeah.
It's it's like it's doable. It's doable.
Mm. Well, as I say, man, we'll have to wait and see, man. But yeah, before we wrap up, man, I just want to get your take on just quickly, just your predictions for Liverpool this season. What do you reckon?
For Liverpool this season.
Yeah,
If I was being cheap, I'd say ask me at the end of the window.
yeah,
But if I'm gonna be my normal optimistic self, I'm gonna say minimum third place finish from now. Minimum third place. I expect Liverpool to challenge next season, even with the change of manager. And the reason my reasoning for that expectation
yeah,
is because the squad hasn't changed much. We apparently brought in a manager who's not too dissimilar to what we had before. So
mm,
it shouldn't be that hard to translate it into onto the pitch. And
yeah,
you know how not everyone's like Spurs or Ange Postecoglou. I get it, blah blah blah. But I
mm,
don't really see us having like a new manager bounce, as per se. I think it would be more of a continuing from last season. And I think what will depend on how far we go in terms of trophies next season would be Salah, obviously.
Yeah.
How consistent Nunes can become. And do we get our midfield sorted out? That's it.
Have
I
you guys
think,
been linked? Have you guys been linked with any players? Or?
I mean, we've been linked with every silly season. We linked with like everybody under the sun, like from Yaru. What's his name? Jeremy
Lenny
or
Yoro
Lenny Yaru? Yeah, from is it Nice?
from Lille.
Lil, that's right, Lil.
Yeah.
He looks good. One for the future. We've been linked with that Calafiori.
Calafiori, yeah, he's a good
He
player.
looks like a really good player.
From Bologna, yeah.
We've been linked with like every left-sided centre back you can think of. To Hanko from Ignacio. I mean, I think we'll get like a defensive player brought in. And then when it comes to midfield, we've been linked with Emerson. For some reason, we keep being linked with Coop Miners. A lot of these links are just they're either old slot players or just people think it would suit, or maybe we looked at them last season.
Yeah.
And the problem is we've had a change in the backroom staff, so it's hard to know exactly who they are looking at. I mean, apparently, what's his name, Richard Hughes or something like that. I can't remember his name, but our new director of football has more Italian links. So in the past we had more Portuguese links, which is why we got Diaz and Nunes. I can see us picking up someone from the Italian league, which is why that Calafiori link for me sounds credible. Lenny Yaru is more opportunistic.
He's going Real Madrid, man.
Yeah, my favorite link wasn't the Elise link. It was the Musiala link. It's not happening.
Do you know what? I said it the other day, the Musiala one. Yeah, I was thinking, you know what? He would actually slot into that Liverpool team.
Yeah,
the way they play. But I'm telling you now, yeah, like I'd cry if he goes there. Like literally.
Bro, listen, I'm crying if he comes. I'm telling you right now, I'm crying if he comes, because the way I see it is too often we let our top players go before we replace them in the side.
Yeah.
And I think when I heard we were linked to Elise, I was like, okay, it makes sense. We do need wide players coming in. We are going to have to replace Salah. We do need to replace Diaz. Who I think we need to replace before thinking about Nunes, by the way. Yeah, as much as I like him as a player and as a person, from what I've seen, obviously don't know him personally. But I think when I saw Michelle, I was like, that's the player I would want to go out and buy. Him and maybe one or two other people, like you say, like a Nico Williams would be linked to him. It all fits in nice. It would work. It is possible, especially with Elise going to Bayern.
Yeah.
And Musiala and Bayern having disagreements when it comes to contracts. Nico Williams is not that expensive, even though he has high wages. He's
got a release clause, though, hasn't
he? Yeah, something like 50 million or something like that.
52 million, yeah.
Yeah. So I can see us getting at least one forward in. And I do, like, me personally, if we only signed Musiala and that was it, I'd be happy. If that was it. That's how highly I rate him. Ideally, I would like a centre back in midfield. I kind of want to see Bicetics play on the slot, but he's been out for like a season, so I wouldn't want to rush him in too much. But now next season, I mean, a lot of people kind of think that they're going to go for on a dip because you don't have Klopp anymore. Yeah. But the whole point, I understand that side of it, but Klopp set it up. He set it up for it to be something sustainable, which is what we haven't had before, and which is what most of our clubs in general haven't had before.
Yeah.
Chelsea haven't had that, not really. Man United definitely haven't had that. So I think in terms of, like, even with Ferguson, the way he left the club was in no way, shape, or form ideal. But I would say that we're structurally in a better situation, and squad-wise, we are in a very good situation. So I don't really see the drop-off being, oh, no, you're not going to make Champions League. I think we're definitely winning a trophy next season. And when I say a trophy, I mean a major one.
Right.
That so might be me being gassed.
Third place finish.
Minimum. I mean, I need the title challenge. Yeah. Minimum. That's what I need.
So third place finish minimum, maximum.
So my minimum requirement is finishing third place.
Finishing third place, okay.
Yeah. So
and a trophy.
And a major trophy. And I'll say major trophy, I want the Premier League, the Champions League. And if I'm being
I can't see them winning
being extra. Oh, nah, but yeah, nobody could see us winning the Champions League in 05. If Liverpool are in the Champions League, I think we can win the Champions League. Put it that way. I understand what you mean. I get what you mean.
I'll be honest, man. I'm not going to hold you to that because I can't see it personally. But
nah, they can hang it over my head. I didn't expect it beforehand. Now I expect it more.
Yeah,
I expect us to do well.
The way Atalanta beat Liverpool in the Europa.
It was horrible.
That was Europa.
It was horrible.
And
it was horrible.
With that squad they got at the moment, I obviously Champions League football will be obviously be different. But I mean, yeah, you can
with Atlanta, I have to give it to the tactics. The tactics. Klopp was out. Like, I know the players were tired and blah blah blah. There's a ton of excuses, but if I was gonna focus on what I saw in the game, it was that man marking. So when you're trying to play out, every man is marked. There was literally no out ball unless somebody just did something special. Players got frustrated. We got caught out in transitions and they scored. And for me, when I saw that, I was like, I don't know why more managers don't try and emulate that style, but they just can't.
Gotta be brave. Gotta be brave.
Yeah, but you need to have the players as well, because the players that they have, which is why we like Emerson and other players like that, is they're like dog fighters. They're the pit fighters. They're pit bulls. All of them, all over the pitch. They're all excited to close someone down. They're excited, and I don't think most teams